Hello, my name is Mark Sherwood, and in this lesson I'm going to be talking to you about two very important reps. And the first one is called the limit rep. The second one is called the marker rep. And the limit rep and the marker rep revolve around what I refer to as the transition point. And the transition point marks a precision point. A precision point where there is a transition between being in the ATP creatine phosphate state, which is an easier state to be in, and then transitioning into the lactate state, which is a more difficult state to be in. And so this is how the limit rep and the marker rep work. If I were to start out with the set at full strength, and for instance we'll just say that I'm doing a set of curls, well, while I'm doing that set and I'm strong, I'm going to be able to use a nice even rep rhythm. So I need to concentrate on that and lift forcefully. Use force when you lift, but try to lower the bar at the same speed each time and raise it at the same speed each time. And so as I'm progressing, I'll notice that the reps may feel a little bit harder and I can feel fatigue coming on to a certain degree, but we'll say that I make it through 7 reps, nice and even, all through those 7 reps. But the 7th rep is the last rep that I can do at that nice even rep speed. So I would call that the limit rep, because it's the limit of reps that I can do while still in a strong state in the ATP, creatine phosphate energy system. But then fatigue begins to set in, and suddenly I begin to slow down on the 8th rep. Well, that shows that on the 8th rep, it got much harder on that 8th rep than it was on the 7th rep. You see, on the earlier reps, it was getting just a little bit harder, and just a tiny bit harder every time I added on a rep. But when I got to the 8th rep, suddenly it got a lot harder at that point. And that's what happens at a precision point. You have a threshold where just a little bit of addition of exercise suddenly makes a big difference in terms of how difficult the exercise is, instead of just a little bit of difference as what was happening on the previous reps. And so you have transferred or transitioned into the lactate state at that point. So you want to stop either at the limit rep or at the marker rep. Now, I was always told, well, you should just push as hard as you can. You shouldn't stop until you can't go any further. They call that training to failure. When you train to exhaustion and you couldn't possibly do one more rep no matter how hard you tried. But what's going on when you do that is you are at the end of the set really emphasizing the lactate system, and the lactate system helps you to be able to train longer, but it doesn't necessarily make you stronger. So if you're training for strength and focusing on that, then stop at the limit rep or stop at the marker rep. Even though you feel like you could do more reps, what's happening is you're weakening as you keep on doing more reps past the marker rep, until on that last rep you're really weak. So it's not really helping you gain a lot of strength, it's just adding some to your endurance. So use the limit rep and the marker rep.